Welcome to the Board of Adjustment for the Town of Ocean View. If you make just a few housekeeping, make sure you signed in at the front door. Please make sure that your phone is off. And please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, let's have a call to order, and then we need approval of the agenda. Move approval.
Second, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion has carried. May I have approval of the minutes of the October 19th, 2023 Board of Adjustment meeting?
I move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion has carried. Mr. Seminole, would you like to talk about our new business, please?
Yes.
Madam Clerk, Mr. Seminole first, could I swear you and the clerk in? Do both of you swear to tell the truth before these proceedings today?
Yes.
Yes. And Madam Clerk, have all notices been sent and all advertisements and sign postings been made as required by the code with respect to these matters before the board today? Thank you. Mr. Seminole, sorry, thank you.
Okay, this is a review of application V450, 23 Murals Court, County Tax Map number 134-17.00-842, PIDN 408.016. Application V450 is submitted by the property owners, Richard and Kathy Saltzman, and their contractor, Just Imagine Landscaping, LLC. Article 7, Section 140-50-B of the Town Code sets some dimensional regulations for planned communities, allows Town Council to set other dimensional regulations, and indicates that dimensional regulations not defined will comply with those set forth in R3 zoning requirements. The minimum rear yard for accessory uses structures in Ocean View Beach Club is 10 feet, as defined in Ordinance 214 and adopted by Town Council on March 6, 2007. Article 5, Section 140-35 of the Town Code indicates that a patio may project into a required rear yard setback as long as it is placed no closer than 10 feet to a lot line. The property owners wish to maintain an existing paver patio with built-in grill area that encroaches into the required rear yard setback on a property zone RPC, residential planned community, located at 23 Murals Court.
Okay, thank you.
So I believe at issue here is the patio, a project and associated landscaping received Ocean View Beach Club Architectural Control Committee approval on August the 15th, 2022. A building permit, permit 22-286 for the paver patio with sitting walls, grill enclosure, and fire pit was then issued by the Office of Planning, Zoning, and Development on August 26, 2022. Previously, the property owners were successful in obtaining a variance V432 for the projection of a proposed screen porch into the rear yard setback of 30 feet. A review of as-built survey detailing the above-mentioned improvements revealed that a corner of the patio and grill enclosure area encroached 1.81 feet into the required 10-foot rear yard setback. This is 0.81 feet or 9.72 inches over what will qualify for an administrative variance for 1 foot into a yard setback due to contractor error. The as-built survey verifies compliance with lot coverage requirements. It is worth noting that the rear of the property backs up to the wooded area of the Ocean View Beach Club Open Space Parcel D. Because the corner of the patio and grill area also encroaches into the Town of Ocean View 10-foot drainage easement, it is the recommendation of this office that, should the Board of Adjustment choose to grant this variance, a note be added to the as-built plans as follows. The variance for the encroachment of the patio and grill area is approved, subject to the following. The town reserves the perpetual right to enter upon real estate at any time that may seem fit in order to construct, maintain, or repair the drainage easement for the purpose of conveying water over, across, through, and under the lands of the applicant, together with the right to remove trees, bushes, undergrowth, and other obstructions interfering with the purposes of the drainage easement. The town shall have no obligation to repair or restore the patio, grill, enclosure, or to pay for the same. So this really boils down to the fact that the property owner contracted to build this patio, grill, seating areas, etc. And the contractor made a mistake, built it larger than what was indicated on the plans, what was approved in the permit. The as-built survey, which is done after the fact, to show whether or not you built what you said you were going to build, showed that there was an error in the construction, to no fault of Mr. or Mrs. Salton, the property owner.
Okay, would,
Let me ask, Mr.
Certainly.
Mr. Semino, did you care to read the application into the record as you typically
Certainly.
do?
Yep.
And then I want to clarify one thing with the board before we move forward.
The application as filled out by the applicant. Number one, uniqueness. Do you have a unique circumstance or condition such as irregularity, narrowness, or shallowness of the lot size or shape, or exceptional topographical or other physical condition peculiar to the property? If so, explain. And I'll do my best to read this handwriting. Patio was measured off of survey stakes that were present. Grill enclosure was built to be safe distance from the house. Grill enclosure built
On angle.
on angle and was inadvertently constructed beyond the setback. B, is there an exceptional practical difficulty due to such unique conditions and not related to general circumstances or conditions? If yes, please explain. Grill enclosure was built to maintain safe grilling distance from the house. Measurements were taken from survey stakes that were present on the property. 2, possibility of development. Can the property be developed in strict conformity with the zoning ordinance without a variance? If not, please explain. The applicant responded that the improvement has already been constructed. B, is the variance necessary to enable reasonable use of the property? The grill area needed to be set away from the house, was the applicant's response. 3, has a difficulty been created by the applicant? The applicant responded no. 4, effect on surroundings. Will the variance alter the essential character of the neighborhood? No, blends nicely with the surroundings, does not create any drainage or other issues. That was the applicant's response. B, will the variance substantially or permanently impair the appropriate use for development of adjacent property? The applicant responds that the property behind will not be developed and does not affect either property to the sides. C, will the variance be detrimental to public welfare? The applicant responded no. 5, extent of variance. Will the variance represent the least modification possible of regulations at issue? The applicant responded yes, no other construction will need to be completed. If variance is denied, demolition will need to occur. B, is the variance necessary to afford relief? The response was that it's already built, the variance is needed. And C, will the variance represent the least modification possible of regulations at issue? And the applicant responded yes.
Thank you, Mr. Semino.
Yep.
thank you.
So, Mr. Seminator, I just want to be clear. Per your comments, the encroachment is in a drainage easement of the town. So your recommendation is that if the board was inclined to grant this, they should impose the conditions that you suggested in your memo to allow for drainage.
Yes, and then and this note should be placed on the final site plan.
Okay. So I just want to make sure that the board takes note of that.
Okay, gentlemen, questions? Questions? My only question is, will the property behind the never be developed, isn't that county property?
It's actually a limited common area owned by the Ocean View Beach Club. It is a wetlands.
Oh, it is, okay, so it will never be developed?
Correct.
Because it is a wetland, okay. All right. No questions, gentlemen? Would our applicants like to talk? So,
You want to come forward?
would whomever is representing our applicant, please come forward. You have to be sworn in, so don't start talking until the solicitor swears you in.
So can you please state your full name for the record and your address?
Richard Saltzman, 23 Morels Court, Ocean View, Delaware.
Thank you. And Mr. Saltzman, do you swear to tell the truth before the board in these proceedings today?
I do.
Okay. Feel free to make your presentation.
Only a couple very quick things. I understand all the conditions if the board would grant this, and of course, we're supportive of whatever the board needs to do in that regard. I contacted our two neighbors. We're at the end of a cul-de-sac there, and so we only have two neighbors, one on each side of us, the Blairs and the Deegans. And I contacted them this week. They emailed me back. They both support the application. I have emails from both of them that they're both supportive of the application, and they're happy with the way the patio turned out. So it's really the only other thing I really had to add to the application.
Mr. Saltzman, did you want to make those emails part of the record and give
I
them
can.
to the town clerk?
Yes.
Okay. And
Do you
that's
have
it.
anything else to add?
That's about it.
Madam Clerk, we receive, you may be seated,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Saltzman. Madam Clerk, did we receive any other correspondence concerning this matter? No?
Gentlemen, any questions?
One quick one.
Sure.
I want to make sure I get this right. It goes into the setback 1.81 feet, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. That's all.
Other questions? Then we move for a motion,
Well,
please?
so we need to give public comment, Madam
Oh,
Clerk.
I'm sorry, yes, I did. Anybody here in the public that is for or against?
That wishes to make a comment, please come forward. All right, so there's no one here that wishes to comment on this application. Okay.
All right, it's up to us, gentlemen. Make a motion?
All right,
I
so
make a motion to grant the variance with the additional language that the town suggested for the encroachment of the patio on Thickets page 2 at the bottom.
all right, and
Town comments.
we're just going to read that language into the record, which is from Mr. Simoneau's memorandum to the board. And that language says, the variance for the encroachment of the patio and the grill area is approved subject to the following. The town reserves a perpetual right to enter upon real estate at any time that it may seem fit in order to construct, maintain, and repair the drainage easement for the purpose of conveying water over, across, through, under, and the lands of the applicant, together with the right to remove trees, bushes, and undergrowth, and other obstructions interfering with the purposes of the drainage easement. The town shall have no obligation to repair or restore the patio grill enclosure or to pay for the same. So that is the conditional language you were requesting, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion, that's
That's
the
your-
motion to approve.
I second the motion. It doesn't it's not a substantial detriment to the public good, and it's not specific, the variance relates to specifically this property. It's not a hardship generally shared by other properties in the area. And, yeah.
Okay. So our motion has been put before the board.
Second.
There we go. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion has carried.
Okay, Mr. Saltzman.
Yes, you may leave, you may leave. And before we start the next one,
And this will be made of record with the clerk's office, Mr. Saltzman.
give us 3
So-
minutes to go on before we go
Let
on
me
to the
ask
next.
one question.
Certainly.
So will you reach out to him to make sure that language gets on the final plan, or
Yeah, they'll be coordinated.
Ms. Oliver, you'll do so? Thank you. Okay.
The next case before the board, Mr. Semino, would you, it's the DRB Group Eastern Shore LLC and John Silvera. Am I saying that correctly?
Very nice.
Thank you.
Heard a lot.
38 years of education. Okay.
Okay, this is application V 451. It's for 142 Woodland Avenue. It is associated with the Shore Vista Final Land Development Plan, and it is a request for a variance from Article 2, Section 187-10-A, which states that driveways shall not be placed. I feel like I missed something there. Article 2, 187-10A, and Article 16, Section 140-100-D, 12B2 of the Town Code for a 104 townhouse lot. Article 2, Section 187-10A states that driveways shall not be placed within 5 feet of a property line. Article 16, Section 140-100-D, 12B2 states that driveways shall be a minimum of 5 feet from any property line. The developer proposes to construct driveways on townhouse lots that will be installed less than 5 feet from a property line. The applicant requests a reduction of 5-foot driveway setback to 1 foot. This application is submitted by George Miles and Burr, LLC, commonly known as GMB, on behalf of the property owner, DRB Group of the Eastern Shore, LLC, for a property zone R3, townhouse and multifamily district, located at 142 Woodland Avenue, County Tax Map number 134-12-470, PIDN 034.00. Section 187-10 of the Town Code, driveways. A, the minimum width of a driveway shall be 10 feet and the maximum width shall be 20 feet for the area within limits of the town right-of-way. The total width of a driveway within the limits of the town right-of-way on a single lot shall not exceed 20 feet. Driveways shall not be placed within 5 feet of the property line. Section 140-100-D 12B driveways states driveways shall be a minimum of 5 feet from any property line. The developer of the Shore Vista community proposes to construct driveways on 104 townhouse lots that will be installed less than 5 feet from a property line. The applicant requests a reduction of the 5-foot driveway setback to 1 foot. The Office of Planning and Zoning has reviewed this request and determined that Town Code does not contemplate the application of these requirements relevant to townhouse lots. Townhouse dwelling units are attached and therefore on necessarily narrow lots compared to those designated for construction of single-family detached dwelling units. Townhouses are permitted by Town Code in the R3 townhouse and multifamily district, and, as proposed, the width of each lot in Shore Vista will exceed the code required minimum of 20 feet for interior units and 30 feet for end units. As designed, the driveways will accommodate the 2 required off-street parking places per dwelling unit. It's in the opinion of the Office of Planning and Zoning that for these reasons we do not oppose the granting of this variance request. I also would like to note that we're in the process of making changes to our code to address this deficiency.
Mr. Simino, I did not swear you in at the commencement, so do you swear to tell the truth in these proceedings today and remind you under oath?
Swear to tell the truth and that I just told the truth.
Okay, thank you. And Madam Clerk, do you swear to tell the truth before these proceedings today?
Yes.
And can you confirm that all notices that were required of these proceedings were made and posted on the property?
Yes.
Thank you. So, Mr. Simino, do you care to read the application, put it on the record?
We can. The application as completed by the applicant for uniqueness. Do you have a unique circumstance or condition such as irregularity, narrowness or shallowness of a lot size or shape, or exceptional topographical or other physical conditions peculiar to the property? The applicant responded, the code requires a minimum 5-foot separation between lot lines and driveways. The hardship results from the property's narrow townhouse villa lots, coupled with the garage location and the desire to have 2 off-street parking spaces on each lot. The proposed separation is 1 foot. Is there an exceptional practical difficulty due to such unique condition? If yes, please explain. The applicant responded, given the narrow townhouse villa lots and the location of the garage, there will be an exceptional practical difficulty, really a virtual impossibility, in providing the 2 required on-lot, off-street parking spaces of a property width for these townhouse units without a relief from the side yard setbacks for the driveway. Number 2, possibility of development. Can a property be developed in strict conformity with the zoning ordinance without a variance? The applicant responded no, because of the needed width of the driveway for 2 required parking spaces. 2B, is a variance necessary to enable reasonable use of the property? The applicant responded yes, 2 off-street, on-lot parking spaces are required in the community, and homeowners would reasonably expect to park 2 cars in front of their house. 3, has a difficulty been created by the applicant? The applicant responded no. The narrower lots are a function of the townhouse villa buildings. Adding to the difficulty is the planning preference of 2 on-lot, off-street parking spaces. 4, effect on surroundings. Will the variance alter the essential character of the neighborhood? The applicant responded no, the character of the neighborhood will be similar throughout. B, will the variance substantially or permanently impair the appropriate use for development of adjacent property? No. There is no impact to adjacent properties, was the response. C, will the variance be detrimental to the public welfare? The applicant responded no, as the setback variance facilitates the 2 required off-street parking spaces on the townhouse lots, thereby promoting the land's use development regulations purposes of lessening congestion in the streets, which in turn helps to secure safety from fire and other dangers and promotes public health and general welfare. 5, extend the variance. Will the variance represent the least modifications possible of regulations at issue? Yes, the request is for only one side of each driveway. B, is the variance necessary to afford relief? The response was yes, otherwise 2 parking spaces cannot be placed on each lot and access to the garage would be prohibited. C, will the variance represent the least modification possible of regulations at issue? The respondents said yes, please see above in A and B. That's it.
Gentlemen, questions?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Semino, I have a question. I'm just trying to make sure I'm understanding the issue. So it's 5 feet setback normally. You want to go to 1 foot. So is it my understanding that 2 cars could be side by side on different properties with only 2 feet in between them? And is that enough room for a car door to open on 1 car or both cars at the same time?
So it's my understanding on the interior units, I'm trying to picture this in my head, that there is the potential that 2 cars can be parked side by side with a 1 foot setback on either lot.
So a car on one property, car door, could actually hit their neighbor's car door
It could, but I don't think that should be for our determination.
Sure, okay, I'm just trying to picture how close this is if we drop it to 1 foot. So it's a total of 2 feet between those cars, is what we're saying.
On an interior lot, in a townhome.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Certainly.
Ken, there's several references to these required 2 parking places for each unit. Who is requiring, is that a town requirement, or is that a planning goal? Where is that coming from?
It is a requirement of the town code
Okay.
for 2 off-street parking spaces per dwelling unit.
Other questions, gentlemen?
Yeah, I have one for Ken.
Yeah,
Did I understand you say that you're relooking at the code for townhouses?
we're relooking at the requirement for the 5-foot setback from the property line in the code as it applies to townhouse construction.
Any other questions at this point, gentlemen?
Would
No, Miss, go ahead, Ms. A.
Would you like to speak to the corridor
That was going to be my next.
issue?
Would the representatives of GMB please come forward and be sworn in? And I see that you have a podium and something to show. Ms. Zielinski, you have to be sworn in.
Hi, would you please state your name for the record and who you're here to represent?
My name is Katja Kalinski. I'm a land planner with GMB, and I'm representing our applicant, DOB Group of the Eastern Shore.
And do you swear to tell the whole truth before the board in these
I
proceedings
do.
today? Thank you.
So, the problem with townhomes really is that the garages are usually set to the side of the buildings, right? So, that is really close to your property line, so we can't push that driveway over, because then you would drive in front of your house but never get into your garage, right? And it can occur that the garages are next to each other, but we typically only do this with one of the end units, so that the garages are in the interior of the lot and not the exterior, if that explains that. And a typical parking spot is 10 by 20, so when you go to the Giant and park in the 10 by 20 spot, the next car is right next to you. So if you have an additional 2 feet between the 2 units, that shouldn't be a problem.
Sure, I'm just concerned about the detriment to public good and that these are going to be neighbors living side by side.
I mean, we can look at how we put these townhomes together and make sure it doesn't happen,
Okay.
or maybe just a few times.
You're saying it doesn't happen then?
Yeah.
You have to be sworn in, sir.
I'm John Severa. I'm with the DRB Group Eastern Shore LLC.
Do you swear to tell the truth before the board in these proceedings today?
Yes.
Thank you.
So as Katja mentioned, with townhome construction, what we will do is we will flip the one end unit. So the garage is on the exterior. So essentially, that next unit beside it will not interfere with that driveway. If it's a 4-unit building, there'll be no interference with all of them because it just kind of goes down the line. If you go to a 5-unit building or larger, there would be 2 units that would essentially only have about the 2 feet in between each.
So that would occur then?
Yeah, it could. Your driveway is 20 feet wide, so a typical car is about 8 feet.
And you said the expectation of the community is that they have 2 parking spaces each. So it's 4th of July weekend, everybody's in town.
Correct.
And, okay.
Correct. Yeah.
I just want to know whether that could occur.
Sure.
Just concern the public good.
Absolutely. Understand.
Because that, my car door is more than 2 feet.
Sure.
And neighbors got to live next to each other.
Sure.
And I see kind of a friction point, but
Yep.
okay.
Yep. I understand the concern.
Could one of you please explain to us with your diagram exactly?
Yes. So as you see here, this is a 4-unit building. So as I mentioned, we would flip one of the garages, so it would be on the exterior. And then this right here, these 2 would be on the interior. So those would be the only 2 that would be in conflict. This one at the end would not be. If you go to a 5-unit building, we would flip one of those, so those 2 would not be in conflict. And then these few would be in conflict with the 2 feet in between. And as I was mentioning, typical cars are around 8 feet wide. So you have 20 feet. So if you have 2 cars parked beside each other, maybe a foot in between. So about 17 to 18 feet there, and then you open a car door, you know, you should have about really 4 feet in between the two units instead of 2.
So you're saying there's really about 4 feet then?
Correct, with
Okay,
the
thank
typical
you.
car being 8 foot wide.
That clears it up.
Typical cars are 10, or about 8.
Gentlemen, any other questions?
No, I'm just, again, just trying to picture, you don't have any architectural drawings of what the fronts of these units will actually look like?
We do not.
Or not,
Okay.
not today.
As, most of the time, a person is not going to park on the absolute edge of the driveway, right? The car is gonna be a couple of feet from the edge. So even though the driveways are only 2 feet apart, car doors are not going to be only 2 feet apart. That's, I just wanna,
Exactly.
I wanna make sure you're confirming the
Yeah,
thoughts I
so
have.
a driveway 20 feet wide, cars aren't 10 feet wide. You know, so when you drive into a driveway, it's not like the cars are side by side like this. If that was the case, you would be able to open a car door on either side. So cars are about 8 feet wide, so you can open a door, and say if both car doors are open at the same time in a 20-feet driveway, yes, they're gonna conflict. But when we have 2 feet, and then we have 2 feet in on the driveway, because it's only an 8-foot wide car, that's 4 feet basically in between. So if the neighbor has their car door open and the other has their car door open, there's 4 feet in between.
Sure, I'm just thinking it's one thing if my wife or my 14-year-old hits my car on my driveway with her car, but it's
Sure.
another when the neighbor does it over and over. Okay.
Yep, understand.
But that same issue would occur in every parking lot because the parking spaces
I
are
don't
10 by
appreciate it
20.
there either.
So,
Ken, I have a question. A few meetings back, we had another situation similar to this with townhomes, and we ended up with, to get mandatory 2 cars for each residence, they had to have a parking space created at the end of the block. Am I correct in my thinking, or what was?
No, we were most recently here before you on July the 20th for a mixed-use plan community where they proposed to construct 161 townhouse units. And the fact of the matter is our code allows construction of townhouse units, but our code does not contemplate this 5-foot setback in allowing you to construct your townhouse unit. So our code is flawed.
If I could address your
Sure.
point, that was part of their justification for why they needed the variance,
Got it.
so that they didn't have to
They
have
have
the satellite parking.
Got it.
Any other questions,
Yeah,
gentlemen?
I have one. The question I have is, what is the alignment of the garage to the driveway? I'm just trying to picture the whole thing. So is the garage in the middle of the driveway?
So basically on the one end unit, the garage will be on the outside,
Okay,
of the building. So you basically have your garage, your driveway, and then your door, say this is on the right-hand side, your driveway and your garage is on the right-hand side, your front door is just to the left of the garage. Okay, and then the next unit down, there would be 2 doors side by side, front doors, and then the garage would be to the left of that door. And then the same thing going down, you just have door, garage, door, garage, door, garage, depending upon how many units it is.
thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
Gentlemen, before, okay? All right, thank you very much, both of you. Now, is it open to the public? Is there someone who would like to speak for or against the procedure? All these people, nobody wants to talk?
Okay, so for the record, there's no one here to make public comment. And if the board doesn't have any questions, we can close the
We
hearing.
can close the hearing, yes. No other questions from anyone, okay? The public part of the meeting is closed now. Gentlemen, we need to make a motion.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the variance.
Wait.
Can I say something?
Very quickly, before we close it.
I'm sorry, I thought there was another part of the
Oh,
meeting.
no. Go ahead. No, she'll take care of you.
My name is Doug Garrity. I live at 37752 Balsa Street.
Mr. Garrity, do you swear to tell the truth before the board in these proceedings?
I do.
Okay, you have 3 minutes.
Fine. I was here a couple of meetings ago too, and I have a concern. My house abuts, and several of us here abuts the construction of this development. And we have two issues here. One is we have Banks drainage ditch.
Excuse me. This meeting is Board of Adjustments, and we're here to talk about driveways. We will be having the planning and zoning meeting at 4 o'clock, which you'll have plenty of time to discuss
Okay.
that issue.
That's fine. I just,
Separate meetings.
Separate
Okay.
meeting, sir.
It's-
very good.
Thank you, Mr. Semino. Okay, so if there is no,
All right, so the hearing's closed, the hearing for the Board of Adjustment meeting is closed. We will be having the planning commission on the final plan at 4 o'clock.
okay, but we need a motion.
Yes, we need to, the board needs to make a decision on that application.
Madam Chair?
Did you make the motion?
Yeah, I was started, but you can, okay, you can. Okay, please, go ahead.
Madam Chair, I move to approve the variance. I move to approve the variance request made by the DRB Group of the Eastern Shore LLC to allow the reduction of the 5-foot driveway setback to 1 foot for lots in the Shore Vista subdivision. And the reasons are following. Number one, code does not contemplate a reasonable driveway setback for a townhouse style subdivision, so hardship is not shared generally by all types of properties. Number two, the variance can be granted without detriment to the public good. Number three, the benefit of granting the variance outweighs detriment because it allows 2 parking spaces in each townhome lot, which is preferable to a one space car lot. Number four, granting the variance would not impair the intent or comprehensive plan, since plan contemplates this type of use. Number five, the zoning code contemplates the townhouse use. Number six, it is not and will not negatively affect uses of the vicinity of the subdivision, but only enhance because help alleviate on-street parking. Number seven, if the 5 feet restriction is removed, there will be no serious impact to surrounding areas. And number 8, if the 5-foot restriction is not removed and reduced, the development can only sustain 1 parking spot per lot, which is undesirable for residents in town as a whole.
So yes, go ahead, Mr.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion is carried. Madam Solicitor, I think our meeting has come to an end.
All right, we'll need a motion to
We
adjourn.
need to have a motion to adjourn, gentlemen.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you for coming.